Before I begin my presentation, thank you, Mrs. Speaker. I know I didn't see the education minister in the house, but I hope she will get the message. Um, she made reference to teachers spending money out of their pockets. We still do. And the reason for that is because when the grants are sent to the schools, there's a deadline for the monies to be spent. And so the teachers have to spend out the money to buy whatever it is. And sometimes after purchasing the items that the monies was given for, late in the term, you run out. And so instead of having your students struggle to get certain things, you would go into your pocket and replace it. Hence, the ministry can consider, instead of having the bills returned so quickly, maybe let it go a little later down in the term so that the teachers will be able to do what they have to do. That's a recommendation. All right? I thought after the last comrade that I wouldn't have to be hearing, Anyhow, having listened to a laborious budget presentation, Mr. Speaker, void of meaningful information from the Honorable Member Dashi Singh, I rise to respond. Before addressing the budget itself, I am compelled to remind this Honorable House of the African proverb, a chattering bird builds no nest, and a roaring lion kills no game. And this, Mr. Speaker, is the reality of the PPPC track record in government. Between 1997 and 2012, Ghana witnessed more than 400 extrajudicial killings of young men, predominantly of African descent, which became the hallmark of that era. Lawlessness, ministerial overreach, and abuse of authority emerged and continues today. Just wondering, as the Honorable Edgel spoke earlier, who enforces the law on these government officials who behave lawless and breaks the law? The destruction of KNU in 2023, not only by bulldozing, but personal items, the repeated unexplained fires, and the many other grave injustices committed by those in power remain etched in the memory of our people. In the most recent regional and general elections, the government claim of landslide victory is nothing short of laughable. Individuals became citizens overnight, fly-by-night style, and voted. Numerous non-nationals listed on the list were never found with their stated address and remains unaccounted for. These practices, Mr. Speaker, form part of the long and troubling history of the PPPC government. Mr. Speaker, as the Honorable Edgel said earlier, I want to remind this House that the introduction of VAT, a burden, was brought by the PPPC government. Mr. Speaker, the government boasts of the largest budget in our history, presented in a context where growth remains over. Luther's project is 6.2% economic expansion in 2026, still led by the oil sector. This matters because culture, youth, and sport can become a viable project fueled by the oil boom and a very productive industry that outlasts oil. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, there's nothing in this budget and the previous budgets that suggests that the potential of the sector will be realized. The sector is still treated as non-essential to the economic development. Mr. Speaker, if we are serious about developing the non-oil sector, then this sector, especially culture and sports, should have been provided with the resources and the outline of a strategy to realize the economic potential of sport and culture. The government claims to be pursuing this approach, But the allocation tells a different story. Only, Mr. Speaker, I say only, 5.3% of the ministry's allocation will be spent directly on people. As in the tone of my colleagues, the phrase epitome of nothingness, or as in Minister Charles Ramsey's voice, caterwauling. Ramsey, remember that word? Caterwauling, with noise, controversies, and unanswered questions. It's evident in the allocation of this sector. Mr. Speaker, culture is undervalued and underfunded. Our cultural sector, music, craft, theater, heritage, festivals, are fundamental to our identity and creative economy. The much touted orange economy task force is more a ceremonial add-on rather than policy and a plan. If this government is serious about the orange economy, which has been in existence all the time and has little protection, the copyright legislation would have been a priority to be revised and updated, Mr. Speaker. Of the 3.7 billion allocated, 2.6 billion will be used for building, furniture, equipment, and capital projects. What will the remaining 1.1 billion be used for? Mainly administrative costs. This approach will not develop the sector and the people within it. Culture is becoming more a state-controlled sector rather than a means of developing the industry and empowering youths. This is compounded by the situation in which there is still no updated copyright legislation to protect creators. A simple, Mr. Speaker, simple Facebook upload checks for copyright. Many cultural practitioners have turned to the United States to secure copyright protection. This they must do, since we have seen repeatedly the PPPC government practice of using ideas and plagiarizing people's work without acknowledging the source. Where is the Heritage Commission? When will Guyana ratify the UNESCO 2003 Convention for Safeguarding of Intangible Heritage Culture? Almost 1 year and nothing yet from the last meeting. Where is the Cultural Industry Secretariat? These institutions exist on paper, but not in practice, because this would require the government to support Guyanese culture as a collective, not as a one Guyana slogan, which only focuses on one set of people and those artists who they can control. Government intrusion into culture is destroying the industry. When artists must please government, creativity suffers. Again, I repeat, when artists must please government, creativity suffers. It will require using people who work in this industry and have a passion and years of experience to make things happen. Mr. Speaker, putting people first in culture can contribute to growth and development in the economy when we can have exportable services, place branding. All of these approaches can help to make culture contribute to the growth of this economy. There is nothing in this budget that will lead to such transformation in the industry in the near future. We have seen the big spending, but what have truly been the outcome and will make it different in budget 2026? Youth, Mr. Speaker, is framed as a productive empowerment on paper. Mr. Speaker, however, young Guyanese face high cost of living, limited job opportunities, and insufficient access to skills training and jobs that pays a livable income. While funds exist for youth programs, The scale does not match the urgency. The allocation in 2025 is returned in 2026, 1.2 billion. 50 million earmarked for training centers, tools, equipment, and paying for retention. How many, Mr. Speaker, how many CVQ TVET graduation ceremonies were held? Based on what I know, one. How many youths were registered and completed the program? How many drop out? There is no cohesive national plan for youth empowerment in the arts, culture, technology, or social development. Without clear performance targets, these allocations become empty announcements. Mr. Speaker, we can identify growth when we have improvement and it is seen in the labor supply. I am going to again repeat, how can a 4-month skills training program really impact quality in the labor market when the CVQ recommended time for completion of training is between 6 to 12 months? They will hold on and they will say 4 months, fine, but who are you failing? How many of these youths actually gain employment? According to the ministry indicators, in 2025, and I want to lament this point, 12,292 youths were trained. According to your information, 60% were employed and 40%, which is 4,917 youths, were unemployed. Now in 2026, according to your information, you're projecting to train 13,810 youths. 60% is what you're catering for employment, and you're saying 40% will be unemployed, and the 40% will be 5,542 youths will be employed. My fellow Guyanese, I want you to take note, a total of 10,459 skilled youths, plus the others that are unemployed, will be out there. We have to find alternative means to help our youths. I am concluding that the projection is the same as last year because the allocation is the same. There's no strategy to make a change with that. Meanwhile, Mr. Speaker, our youth have easy access to drugs, to vapes, which are accessible in supermarkets, contributing to the rising youth delinquency and other many social ills. The government should use the opportunity to enroll these delinquent youths in the CVQ TVET program and make it mandatory for them to complete the program, and your success rate will definitely improve. Mr. Speaker, sports. Infrastructure of athletes. Approximately, Mr. Speaker, 6 billion has been allocated to sports, but most of it is tied to capital projects. There is no focus on sportsmen and women. Stadiums and facilities are important, but they are not substitutes for athlete development, coaching, sports science, or competitive opportunities. Our athletes who live overseas, and you bring to represent Guyana is a testament that there is no substitute for coaching, sports science, or competitive opportunities. So there's no excuse. Mr. Speaker, grassroots organizations remain underfunded, and according to the information provided in the budget book, you claim 460 community grounds were completed according to your information in 2025. And yet under that, 2 billion was spent. Mr. Speaker, grounds were lighted up, but face poor work, delays, poor maintenance, and safety issues. 1,250 million will be spent in 2026, according to your information. Can we expect any different results? I would love to know. There is no clear framework for the development of sportsmen and women. In the circumstance, there are difficulties in ensuring the infrastructure serves its purpose. The development of our sportsmen and women is critical to the development of sport. Unfortunately, there's very little or no focus on the people who are to make the industry successful. In fact, the sector is not treated as an industry that can help with the diversification that is touted in this budget. It is time to invest in sport as an industry that can empower youth and provide them with a livable income. This budget fails to treat young people as a human resource to be developed. Mr. Speaker, what is the facility utilization rates for all the parks, all the stadiums, all the studios that the government claimed to have built?
Honorable member, for you to continue, you need an extension.
I think it wrapped my thing, you know.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. May I request that the honorable member be given 5 minutes to conclude our presentation?
I don't like the speakers. Anyway,
Continue.
thank you, Mr. Speaker. How many certified coaches and officials do we have from official training from 2025 allocations? How many officially trained coaches can we expect in 2026? Officially trained does not mean free online courses. The budget does not give us any deliverables. It is the largest budget without clear deliverables. Mr. Speaker, we speak of Guyana being a host nation for international competition. Mr. Speaker, we continue to drop the ball on sports tourism. And I reference FIBA basketball competition where you had fresh paint smell in the competition and a dusty sports hall. I reference the IGG games, the microphone not working at the ground. You can't tell me it's rain because you're supposed to plan and put alternative in place. Mr. Speaker, bus breakdown with athletes, no changing room for visiting team, and one area that a particular team stadium, they complain about the smell of dope all the time. And further, I say no more. What I say to this house, Mr. Speaker, that we as Guyanese, when we're hosting international competition, pull the best skills together and ensure you give some people something tangible, something that they can be proud of when they leave Guyana. Nobody can leave Guyana and go and say the Minister of Youth Sports and Culture didn't do a good job. They're going to say Guyanese. So we need to have that fixed. Mr. Speaker, the ministers talked about projects to be completed. This is a list of projects from 2025, list of projects from 2026. We still waiting in Mackenzie Stadium. We still waiting for Anna Regina Stadium. Yeah. We supposed to see Bayrock Ground open. We still waiting for New Amsterdam. We still waiting for Palmyra. The multi-purpose projects we're waiting on. We might hear like Mabaruba project. It is being cancelled. Mr. Speaker, and yet still, they bring another list for 2026, of which I will add, because I am sure that there's no optimism that these projects will be completed in 2026. Mr. Speaker, I now turn my attention to Region 4. From Georgetown to the Mary, from Kitty to Mahaika, hardworking Guyanese form the backbone of the nation's economy and public life. The government has presented a 1.558 trillion budget for 2026 under the theme Putting People First. Yet, when measured against the lived realities of Region 4, the promise collapses. Georgetown, our capital city, continues to suffer financially. Commuters lose hours daily in traffic congestion. Mr. Speaker, a capital city cannot be managed through spite and press releases. It requires partnership planning and respect for local governance, none of which this government has demonstrated. The eastbound corridor has experienced explosive population and commercial growth, yet infrastructure, traffic congestion is unbearable. Drainage and roads are inadequate, and those constructed cause for grave concern, as expressed by the visiting official from the US of A and Guyanese alike. From concussion roads to abortion road, to conversion roads, from 2 vehicles to 1 vehicle. And Mr. Edgell, the honorable member, spoke about infrastructure. That's the type of roads we have in Guyana. Residents spend hours in traffic each day, and this budget offers no immediate relief and no strategic plan to match the development with the population growth. Mr. Speaker, I say, development without planning is not progress, it is guessing. Development without planning is not progress, it is guessing. Health centers are overreached or overstretched, and the Diamond Regional Hospital brings no hope. The horror stories of getting a simple ultrasound, or the staff not speaking English, or a young mother taking home her dead child in a box to bury, or a doctor not available, does not speak to development. Let me reiterate, development without planning is not progress, it is stressing. Mr. Speaker, the ill-mannered and bullying approach practiced by government agencies speaks volume, ignoring and showing blatant disregard for elected officials in community, especially Mocha Arcadium, must be addressed. The people of Mocha Arcadium, and I want to say this loudly, the people of Mocha Arcadium were not brought from Venezuela or Bangladesh. Our ancestors were brought from Africa. Hence, our ancestral land belongs to the African people in Mocha. Denying the collection of leaves for the last for the last 5 years from the African people of Mocha Arcadium will not, and I'm saying it, will not materialize to this inheritance. But rather, I will call on our African brothers and sisters who are being treated badly with our lands to unite and to fight the government until they get it right. That is what I'm going to say tonight. We will fight until we get it right. In closing, Mr. Speaker, the people of Region 4 are not asking for special treatment. They're asking for fairness, equity, and competent governance. In conclusion, the people-centered budget is one that places citizens, not stats, at the heart of national development. It prioritizes the real needs of people, workers, youths, and the most vulnerable, ensuring that public spending translates into improved livelihoods and greater opportunities and shared prosperity. Mr. Speaker, when resources are allocated transparently and equitably, and when policies are guided by consultation and compassion, the budget becomes more than a financial document. It becomes a commitment to uplift people, strengthen communities, and build a nation where no one is left behind. Clearly, this is not such a budget. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable.